So what brings you in today?
I've been thinking a lot about work and some issues that have been going on, not so much with me, but going on around me that have made me kind of anxious and nervous about my department.
So you're feeling a little worried about some of the issues at work.
I guess not so much worried as anxious, that if things keep going the way that they are, it might affect my job or how I do things. Or what if it makes my boss upset and then they start getting on to me about little things?
So you're worried about some of the things that could be happening at work, boss having some problems and trickle down from there.
Yeah. I think that they're not really managing our Omega department very well, and they've caused some scheduling issues that have caused some ambiguity about who's responsible for what students. And then in the last week, we've actually had one student who ran off and got off campus like a couple blocks away before a teacher who happened to be driving past recognized the kid and went and told him. I mean, that was kind of a big deal. And then we had another one that kind of walked out of the classroom without being noticed. And the administration has really been coming down hard on the teachers for that. But there's a general feeling in that whole department like it feels like almost they're not caring anymore. And I'm good friends with everybody that works in that department, and it's a part of my, we're all part of the same team, and every time I go in there, I just get this feeling like things are not going well because people feel like they're not being given the help that they need.
So you're feeling frustrated because your bosses at work aren't on necessarily the same page as you guys.
Well, there's that, but I think that instead of really looking at the main problems, that the underlying issues, they're trying to treat symptoms or micromanage individual people, and in doing that, the people feel, the teachers that work with Omega feel kind of undermined and picked on and treated like they are not capable of doing their job. And it's not just that. We have one that recently was let go because she just kind of gave up. She said, okay, well, if this is how things are going to be, then I'm not going to do my job. And I mean, she potentially was going to be a great teacher, but because of the mismanagement, she ends up letting go of, even caring at all. And it's not just her and the school that suffers, but it puts more pressure on the other teachers that were there. And then when I go in to help out in the classroom, I get this blowback. They want to talk to me, the other teacher wants to talk to me about how, oh, did you hear about another incident that happened with this other teacher, and now they're on a growth plan, and all that happened was this, and people from the district are coming in, and they're treating our program like we don't know what we're doing, but if there was only more support. So, like I was saying, we have one teacher that has already officially been kind of demoted and let go, and they've posted the position up online. And then two other teachers who have said they're definitely not coming back next year. And that leaves only two that are actually committed in the long term to be even coming back next year, which I think is super destabilizing for that whole department. I guess that might give them the opportunity to do a whole departmental reset.
So you're feeling very worried about the future of the program and the kids that are involved in it.
Yeah, and I'm not even a teacher there, but it stresses me out because these are really at-risk kids, and they need the stability, and that's not what's being given to them. And then it also, that the problems in that department spill over into mine, because really, even though it's a separate section of our special education department, it also adds increased pressure on us. And, that kind of worries me. And I also am worried that they're going to be desperate for people to put in there, and they're going to take people from my department and put us in there. And I don't want to be put in that situation. I've worked for a long time really closely with them, and I love the kids and the teachers and working with the aides, but I've seen what's happened to a couple teachers that have been put in that situation where they just transferred them. Both of them left after one semester, incredibly frustrated.
Right. And you don't want to be forced into a position that that you don't want to do.
That's right. And I've done the teaching job there before with kids at that level, and I really enjoy it, but working with the kids is only 1/3 of the job, and so I've been anxious and stressed about how that may happen to me. And I look around in my department and I think, well, who else is there that could do that, and I keep thinking about me in that situation, and maybe I could go talk to my boss about it, but I don't think they'd be all that sympathetic, because they tend to mismanage that department anyways, and maybe they'd say something like, well, if you think that you can make things so much better over there, then how about you get into that department and do it? And I can't take that.
So you're definitely worried about what your bosses might do next?
Yeah. I am. So that stress at work has been on my mind. As far as my other work, not so much, but one class in particular, I feel like I'm having a lot of trouble with controlling these boys. They don't seem to be interested in doing anything except listening to music and work avoidance. And I had one kid that sat in the window. I told him to get out of the window, and then he jumps out. I mean, we're on the first floor, but he just jumps right out, and then he's like, what are you gonna do? What could I do? I had to write him up, and then he got suspended for a few days. But this is the kind of kid that I'm dealing with in this particular class. I mean, I've got a bunch in there that they seem so inconvenienced by being told to put their technology away and actually do work. And it's an everyday battle that I feel like I'm not on the winning side.
So I see at work right now, you're frustrated with the way that your administration is handling some of the issues in other parts of your department, and you're frustrated with your students that you're teaching, that don't seem to want to be receptive to what you have going on.
That's exactly right. I feel like maybe and it's just this one class, but it makes me feel anxious in my other classes that I have to make sure things go perfect. And if I'm having trouble dealing with these boys in this one class, what if they switch me over to work with another class and I struggle there too, and then they take closer looks at me, and any teacher out there, if you look hard enough, you can find fault with whatever they're doing. So I don't want to become some administrator's project. I feel like I'm good, I'm doing what I'm supposed to, but if people start picking at me, what if something like happened to these other teachers to cause them to quit or to leave or to decide that they don't want their contracts renewed at the end of the year? What if that happens to me?
Right, so you're definitely feeling a little worried that the carryover from what happens in your classroom will reflect poorly to the administration, and you might be in risk of losing your job.
Yeah, I've been looking for ways to kind of stop thinking about it and ways to kind of, relax a little bit, focus on different things. I guess